Meanwhile, Obamacare in legal limbo. The Supreme Court is taking up the second major challenge to the health care law tomorrow. The issue, those tax subsidies, critical to funding the law. But what happens if Republican dreams come true and the key provision is shot down in court? Do they have a backup plan? Let's ask the guy who's watching this closely, also looking at government purse strings when it comes to funding for a variety of agencies, the Oklahoma Republican, Senator Jim Inhofe. Senator, good to have you. What happens then? Let's say the court ultimately decides to strike this down.
Yeah, we have three people, Senators Barrasso, Hatch, and Alexander, have put together a plan on what we can do to give more local control to these things and less government mandates. And this has not been revealed yet, or it's going to be in the next couple of days, so I'd be hesitant to say too much about it. But you're right. People are saying, well, we got to win these lawsuits. I'm the first one to say that because our Attorney General in the state of Oklahoma was the first one to file a lawsuit. Now it looks like we've gotten by the obstacles. It's going to be heard tomorrow. A decision is going to be made in June. I have every confidence that that's going to happen. But you asked the hard question. What's going to happen? Because we still have a lot of these parts in place. What will happen is these three very bright specialists in the United States Senate, Barrasso, Hatch, and Alexander, have come up with something that they think is going to work and will allow us to really repeal the offensive parts of Obamacare. I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, in the meantime, you've got to hope that they make progress if that's the case, because obviously if the court strikes these subsidies down just to keep the law going, they're going to have to fund it through much higher premiums, right?
Well, no, that wouldn't be funded under much higher premiums. What would happen is, well, first of all, let's keep in mind, even though it's going to be heard tomorrow, this isn't until June. We've got a lot of time to look at it. And the people I talk to in my state of Oklahoma say that we just want to win and then get some other system in place. It's not going to be just a matter of doing away with one, but replacing it with something.
Do you think by June, Senator, that you'd have that in place in the event that this were to happen?
No, I think that by June we'll have something that we can put in place as soon as this becomes active.
Now, yeah, but the president wouldn't sign that, would he, sir?
Well, it depends on what it is. I can't really tell you right now. Yeah. But you're going to have an awful lot of people putting a lot of pressure on to get something if we're starting out with nothing. I mean, that's, you know, I disagree with a lot of people saying that you Republicans have a majority, but you don't have a veto-proof majority. You just wait, Neo. You're going to see a lot of Democrats that are going to be looking at their re-elections coming up and thinking, you know, the best thing I can do to be re-elected as a Democrat in the United States Senate is to override one of the president's vetoes. Let's wait and see if that happens.
You know, and we've got a lot of vetoes. Look at the well, right. Veto override votes are very important, even if you don't win, because it puts everyone on record for or against.
It puts them on. Right. That's exactly right. The same thing is happening with all these over-regulations from the Environmental Protection Agency. Right. I mean, if you take the greenhouse gas regulations, the Water of the United States regulations, the ozone regulations, that would be, in the case of the greenhouse gas, the largest tax increase in the history of America. And I'm hoping that you, with your audience, would be really getting into that and letting people know. Now, if that happens, then you would think, well, what do you get for it? By their own admission, if they have a cap-and-trade system, it's not going to cut down the worldwide emissions of greenhouse gases or CO2. And the reason, and they admit this, I'm talking about the EPA, they said because the problem's not here, it's in countries like China, India, Mexico, and other countries.
Well, I'm glad you're having that hearing to look into this and beyond. Senator, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to talk to you, Neil.
All right. Well, here's what